Before coming to Ghana, I had never heard about a town called Kasoa. I only knew of Accra, Achimota, Kumasi, and that will be because of the Ghana movies we used to watch back home. So when I came to Ghana, it's only normal that most flights coming from Nigeria usually land at the Kotoka International Airport. And when we landed here, Accra became our home. I was in Accra for a couple of weeks till I, got in contact with a friend, an old school friend who lives in Ghana here. She's actually married to a Ghanaian, and I went to visit her. And when we got talking, she started talking about it would be better if I relocated to, or I moved to Kasoa. She gave me the impression that Kasoa is in Accra. And when I came to Kasoa, I liked what I was seeing. So I was like, well, since Kasoa is in Accra, now guys, follow me on the story. I decided to move and start, life here in Kasoa. It was when I got to Kasoa, after staying for a couple of months, I realized that Kasoa is not even in Accra. It's in a different, region, which is the central region. But by the time I had realized that Kasoa is not even in Accra, I had fallen in love with the town. And I'm talking back as far as 9 years, 8 years, 9 years ago. Till date, we have been living here in Kasoa. So today's video, I'd want to share with you guys what this Ninja girl saw in Kasoa that did not make her pack her bags and move back to Accra upon realizing that Kasoa is not, Accra. Because usually if you're coming into a country, your best, point of stay would be the commercial city, unless of course you have someone who might not be living in the commercial city and in some other place that is also commercial in quote. But I have been in Kasoa, and not once have I ever thought that I want to pack my bags and go back to Accra, because Kasoa is not the commercial city or the capital city that I thought it was, or I thought it would be. So guys, before I go further, my name is Obinje. You're welcome to this channel. Please subscribe to the channel. That is if you are yet to subscribe and you actually love what we talk about here on this beautiful space. And one of the things that actually attracted me to Kasoa initially, despite not knowing that Kasoa wasn't even in Accra, is the fact that Kasoa has a very close proximity to Accra. You are living in Kasoa and you can be working in Accra. There are a number of people who live in Kasoa and their businesses are in Accra, and they are able to do it because of the distance. It's a distance in a way, but not such a distance that you cannot cover. And when I made that move from Accra to Kasoa, that first time I did not even notice the distance, because it just looked like a normal distance of saying you're going from one place to go visit someone. I did not even notice that we had moved from one region to another region. So when she made that suggestion for me, I just felt I was moving from one location in Accra to another location in Kasoa, and I really love it, because even if I did have anything to go do in Accra, I would not feel that, oh, I'm moving from one state, the way we call it in Nigeria. I would not feel that, oh, I'm traveling from one region to another region, because it's not a travel, it's just a journey that you are going to make, and of course you'll be coming home that day. So Accra and Kasoa was just okay for me, and I tend to look at Kasoa as a miniature of Accra, because if you're saying that Accra is commercial city, Kasoa in its own right is a commercial city. You can check the video I made some other days where I talked about the businesses that thrive in Kasoa, or rather the businesses that have helped Kasoa to edge its name on the map. So that's one of the things that I really love about Kasoa in comparison to Accra. It's the fact that it has a close proximity to Accra. That is, if you cannot afford to live in Accra, which is another point that really made me love Kasoa, the cost of accommodation. Now, I'm not going to say that the cost of accommodation in Kasoa is cheap. It's not cheap, but if you are comparing certain factors like, affordability, you would consider Kasoa to Accra, because it's more affordable to rent a house here, depending on whatever type of house it is you'd want to rent. It is more affordable to rent in Kasoa here than renting in Accra. And that's why you see a number of people are living here in Kasoa, although they have jobs in Accra, but when they compare the cost of accommodation, they feel it's far better, renting here in Kasoa. Because let's assume you want to rent a 2-bedroom here in Kasoa. A 2-bedroom might be going for 1,000 Ghana cedis a month, but 1,000 Ghana cedis might be giving you a chamber and hall in places in Accra. So when you check it, why don't you go and get a 2-bedroom here as against the chamber and hall that you might be getting in Accra? So when I checked it and I weighed all my options, I'm like, oh, I think Kasoa is better for me. And another thing in respect to accommodation and all of that is that we were looking at building in the future. That is, if we had, I'm talking back in the past, if we had decided that we wanted to remain in Kasoa or remain in Ghana, the cost of land in Kasoa in comparison with Accra is more cheaper. Now, I am not saying that the lands here are cheap. Cheap can be relative. Yes, what might be cheap to me might not be cheap to you, and what might be expensive to me might not necessarily be expensive to you. But in comparison with Accra, Kasoa is more cheaper to get a land. And another beautiful thing about Kasoa is that more layouts are being opened every other day. Yes, they might not be cheap to you or expensive, but in relative to Accra, the towns here are way affordable. So when we thought about that, we said, okay, let's give it a shot and move to Kasoa. And telling you guys the truth, the lands here are affordable. Although you might not necessarily live within the Kasoa town, you would have to go outskirts. But another beautiful thing I love about the outskirts in Kasoa is that the layouts are well, developed. The way layouts, I think they are more, when you look at the roads, there are more spaces, and the land size is enough for you to build that decent bungalow or duplex or whatever it is that you would want to build. So I love Kasoa because of that. And then another thing that I really love about Kasoa, this I cannot take this particular one for granted, is the fact that Kasoa is a melting point. Kasoa is a hub for different people from different walks of life. So let's assume I am a foreigner, I come into Kasoa. Of course, the beauty about living in Kasoa is the fact that as I am here, I not only get to interact with the nationalities in this country, I get to also interact with people from different countries. And that is not just it. When we come back to the nationalities of Ghana, in Kasoa here, you get to see people from different regions that are residents here in Kasoa. So you can find someone who is an Ewe man, you can find someone who is Fanti, you can find someone who is of another different tribe living here. And I'm someone who believes in diversity, because I feel that the beauty of life is in diversity. The beauty of life is when all of us come together with our unique, individuality, come and merge it together and bring something beautiful. So in Kasoa here, I have come across different tribes from Ghana here. I have come across people from different countries that are residents here in Kasoa. And when you just stop for a moment and look at everything, it's beautiful, it's amazing. And I think for a town like Kasoa, it really spiked me up, because most times you get to see that variety, if I may use that word, in capital cities. And judging from the fact that Kasoa is not the capital city, but it's an upcoming, settlement or an upcoming town, and you're seeing that kind of thing. It's enough for you to want to be a partaker of that, wonder. Another thing that I am really, really, impressed with, or should I say that really made me fall in love with Kasoa again, is the fact that Kasoa has schools for children. And this is, in comparison with other towns, now not with Accra, in the sense that when you are going to a town, or if you find yourself in a town that is not a capital city, or it's not that kind of thriving city, you might not really get the quality of education that you would want for your kids. So people like me who have kids of school age, when I came to Kasoa and I saw that, as at the time when I came to Kasoa, this is far back as 2015, 2016, and I was scouting for schools. Yes, before I came to Kasoa, I went around looking for schools, because as at that time I had daughters of the age of 5 and under 2. So their education was something that I put into consideration. And when I started going around, I started saying that, oh, there were good schools here in Kasoa. I'm talking about schools with good facilities and of course good educational standard. And I'm like, what am I waiting for? And another thing I put into consideration is the tuition fee. In as much as these schools are of good standard and everything, price comparison with Accra and the other towns that are not as developed as Kasoa, this is moderate and it was fair. And when I thought about it, I'm like, whatever quality of education my kids are going to be getting in Kasoa here, I can compare it with what kids in Accra will be getting, and it will be better than what kids in smaller towns or less developed towns will be getting. So the educational system here and everything around it was something to make me just love this town and consider, staying here. And so far so good. I can say that I can give it a check. Another thing again that tripped me about Kasoa is that Kasoa has markets to cater to our needs, and there are about 3 markets located in Kasoa. I'm talking about the old market at the Kasoa bus stop. I'm talking about the new market, which is located at the along the Bourgeoisie road, and then we have the Galilea fish market. Now these markets are just about like whatever it is that you will be getting in Accra. So you don't necessarily have to say that, oh, I am going to go and buy whatever it is that I'm looking for at Accra, unless in rare cases whereby whatever it is you're looking for, you do not find it here. But the chances that whatever it is you're looking for in the market, you don't find it here is this slim. So when I came to Kasoa the first time and I saw that, oh, there are markets here that are just as Makola market or whatever market it is in Accra, save for the fact that they are smaller in comparison, I was like, this is good. This is good. It means that if I need something, I don't have to, go to Accra. I don't have to get up very early, because forget the fact that I said that Accra isn't that far from Kasoa, or Kasoa isn't that far from Accra. If you have to go to the market because you are going to take some time shopping, you might have to leave your house very early, and you are going to join the workers going to work in the morning, and there's going to be that kind of inconvenience. And of course, talk about coming back home later in the day, which is going to also be stressful. But we have those markets here in Kasoa, so you can get up at least at a favorable time of the day and go to the market, do your shopping, and come home, and it's not going to be a stress for you. So like I said, we have the Kasoa market, the new market, the old market, and the Galilea fish market, where you can get just about any type of fish that you want. Top on the list is tilapia and some others. Remember that Kasoa is just lying by the ocean, so there are a lot of fishes that are there, and of course you will love it if you're somebody who is into all of those kind of stuff like that. And then another good thing that I really loved about Kasoa is the fact that if you want to visit other places, Kasoa has quite a number of taxi ranks. Just by the side of the old market, there is a taxi rank that can take you to places within Kasoa, and out of Kasoa. We also have another taxi rank which is opposite the immigration office, that is on the Obom Road, which can also take you to places inside of Kasoa and outside. So to meet the demand of the population in terms of transportation, there are taxi ranks where we have buses, which is called a truck draw. We have taxis which can take you to places that are quite far. For instance, I've never been to Tema, but I know that at the taxi rank opposite the old market, you can get buses that will take you to Tema. So instead of you saying you are going to Accra to go enter a vehicle, there is, and I want to also believe there are places that I do not know of. You can get buses that can take you direct to those places. So that's one beautiful thing about Kasoa. I really, fell in love with. I remember the time I went to Cape Coast. I did not have to go to, Winneba to go take a vehicle. There was a vehicle, or there's a vehicle, or there are vehicles, whichever one it is, that takes you from Kasoa straight to Cape Coast, and it really, 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 gave me, it blew me away for Kasoa. Another thing I loved about Kasoa is the fact that we are close to the West Hills. Wow. See, when I was coming to Kasoa the first time on the Accra Winneba Road, it was my first time flying that road, and so I didn't really know what to expect. And you can imagine me sitting in the bus just enjoying the view that is before me, and then I see West Hills Mall, and I'm like, really, this place is here? And then before you know what, we had gotten to Kasoa, and I start to do the mental calculation, and I see that, oh, this place is quite close to Kasoa. It means that just one bus and I'm at the West Hills. And of course, you know that West Hills is a place whereby individuals, families love to go and shop. People go and relax. People just go to enjoy themselves. So when I saw that, I remember telling my daughters that when we settle, I was going to bring them here to go on the rides there, and I was going to get them one or two things there, and which up until date we go there to just have a nice time. So just looking at that made me love Kasoa. And I think on the list of things, guys, I'm looking down because I did not want to forget the things that I wrote. So I thought about, so I jotted them down here. And one of the things that blew me away for Kasoa is that there is presence of government hospitals here. Now, you know that when you go to small towns, most times what you find there are maternities, or what are they called? They are not well equipped to be called hospitals. They are maternities that attend to pregnant women and slight medical issues. But coming to Kasoa, I see that we have, as at the time when I came here, we had just 2 or 3 government hospitals. But the 3 government hospitals, 2 could be termed to be big government hospitals. I'm talking about the Amanfro Polyclinic and the main Kasoa Polyclinic, which is just by the side of the Nyanyano Road. And then we have another one which is quite a small hospital by the new market, but I didn't really know much about that one. It was the Amanfro and the Polyclinic, the Kasoa Polyclinic, that I knew. And I'm someone who loves, if given the opportunity, I would rather go to government hospitals, because I feel that the government hospitals can give me whatever I'm looking for. So when I came into Kasoa, because like I said, I didn't even know anything about Kasoa, I did not know what to expect about Kasoa. So coming to Kasoa and I see the hospital, because the Amanfro is on the Accra Winneba Road, is something to see. And when I got to Kasoa, I had the opportunity of also seeing the Kasoa Polyclinic, and I'm like, this is beautiful. Because if you have kids, and of course we have to deal with health issues, you want to go to a hospital that can attend to your health issues. So when I saw that these hospitals were here and they were not just not maternity wards and all of that kind of hospitals, I was really impressed So I'm like, if the government can come and build such a big hospital in Kasoa here, then it tells you that this town indeed is a place that is worth moving to, and it actually informed my decision. And let me tell you guys, I have been in love with Kasoa because of all of this and much more. And in our, should I say, about 2-3 years ago, adding to the number of government hospitals in Kasoa, another hospital was built located at CP, which is the Mother and Child Hospital. And I remember 2 years ago, when I went to the polyclinic, I had an issue with my ear. I went to the Kasoa polyclinic. I was told that they had been moved, the ENT had been moved to the Mother and Child, hospital. And I was so happy that, just imagine, I might have considered going to ACCRA, but I didn't have to go. And that day really, really, reignited the love that I had for Kasoa. And guys, these and many more have been the driving force for my love for Kasoa. And honestly speaking, in the course of the years, I haven't had that one thought of me wanting to move out of Kasoa, that Kasoa is not giving me the vibe that ACCRA would be giving. Guys, this is basically the things that this Niger girl loves about this town called Kasoa. And I'd love to know, if you're a resident here, what is the one thing, or what are the things that make you fall in love with this town? Or if you plan on coming to stay in Kasoa, let me know whatever it is that interests you about this town. And if you just see me for the first time, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It's Obinje O Top. Turn on your post notification, give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you another day with another beautiful video. Bye.